Okay, good morning all, and welcome to TradeSetup. Now, the morning playbook, we just aim to be nice, short and sharp, okay, and it's just going to be based around, obviously, the market movers from the overnight and what we see as moving the markets for the day and where the action is going to lie, hopefully. So we'll just go through that as per usual, hopefully keep it to the 15-minute mark, but if you know me well, you know I can't stop talking sometimes. I get sidetracked pretty easy. So anyone on TradingView, you'll see on our profile, you'll see all the relevant details. Our website is www.tradesetup.com.au. So any questions, feel free to send us an email to support@tradesetup.com.au. Check out the website. We've got new resources tab up there, and we're going to add to that as we go. Yeah, that's about it. So we'll get cracking. Today, I was going to look at a few major things that I see anyway. We've got copper. I'm going to take a look at oil, gold, Hang Seng, DOW, and the XJO, which is the ASX200 levels that we see as an important. Now, Trump's just been on the horn talking about what's he talking about? The riots and bringing out potentially going into martial law. Now, I don't know how. I've just been reading bits and pieces on Twitter, and a lot of that can be garbage, but I'm not sure how true that is and whether or not the US has now become a dictatorship. So it'll be interesting to see the US markets and the CFD markets and the futures, excuse me, has just pushed lower after that news, but it's basically been buoyed again. So it could be, suckering a bit of negativity and then flushing back out later on during the Asian session and rally, because it seems to be the bulls are well and truly intent on higher prices and are pretty much, as the global economy sort of crumbles around them, the main thing they're focused on is, any negative news comes out, because it's brushed aside. The main thing they're focused on is coming out of lockdown and seeing what the data shows, and from there. So it's really, that's what the main focus of the market. And we're seeing, copper reflecting what the market's doing, oil and, gold not to to big extent. It's more the US dollar. US dollar is getting sold down, as we know. No need for a safe haven when they're just going to continually pump out stimulus. So, RBA day out today. You're right, Bobby, at 2:30. So it'll be interesting to see what the ASX does prior to that. But I'm still, all in all, brush aside the negative news and be biased up for the day. We'll take a look anyway. So this is copper. We've got copper in front of us. That's well and truly an uptrend. You see there's main support through here, which was flushed out, but it's only really come down to that rising support, which has been in place for quite a while now. Flushed it out and then started holding higher lows since, and it's still continuing to go up. So as long as the US dollar remains bearish, it's going to support commodities, a weaker US dollar, like gold, copper, oil, all those sorts of things, support commodities. And you see that, and increase in demand as China is pumping out some better than expected numbers, manufacturing numbers. That's going to support higher copper prices too, unless there's obviously a big sell-off and a big, then all of a sudden demand comes into question again, whether or not there's enough demand to support copper prices at these higher levels. But either way, we expect that to sort of extend back up to the top range of that rising channel, up to around 2.5. So we'll see how that goes. It might just grind lower, just flush out a few of these weak longs, and we're basically, you call them the weak hands. So anyone that's sort of late to that trend up is, FOMO, fear of missing out, buying the break of that high, potentially get squeezed out, just a deeper pullback and then rally, and they all just got to chase it higher again. So that's what we're sort of expecting on copper. This is oil now. So oil is, it did pop higher through 34.60 level. You can see that level was holding up quite well. We were reacting back off. This is the last time we spoke about it. I think it was the last time we spoke about it. We were coming down at support zone, but the market wasn't saying that it wanted to go through. And you're just sort of looking for potentially a flush out and then holding a higher level. I mean, if it's going to be weak, it's just going to go blast straight through. Okay, you're going to sort of pop through, maybe pull back, retest the zone, and then drop again. But it wasn't, and that coincides with stronger equities as well, stronger share indices. So the high low held, and it moved all the way up. It sort of had a deep pullback, you can see, back here it's around the 20th, end of last month, and then basically charged straight up and through 34.60, the recent highs. And it consolidated there, a bit of a flush lower just to get out some of these buys that bought it through this zone here, flush them out and went straight back up. So if we basically hold back on the MAs, excuse me, we hold back on the MAs and sort of bounce around here and consolidate this zone, above say 35.20 or even above 35, we may flush lower than bounce, and I would expect that's going to take us up through those highs at 35.75. Because what it's doing, you're just getting these shorts, getting a bit of confidence. Chopped around here, they're fine. Okay, we're looking good here. We bounce straight back. No real pressure because the obvious place for stops to be, buy exit stops, is above that zone. Okay, so we'll just see if we consolidate through here and then charge up and through and just trigger all those stops and rally higher. Otherwise, obviously, we're going to start to unwind again and move lower. All right, so gold. Off to gold. Now, gold, I don't see as a safe haven. I know a lot of people like to say safe haven, but it's not. For me, it's more US dollar based. Equities heading higher. Why is there a safe haven into gold? And you can't say because we're expecting a sell-off in equities. We've been doing that for the last month or so, expecting a sell-off in equities for the last month because the data is showing or coming out and being weaker than expected. Jobs data. And there's some jobs data in US tonight. So it's the first Friday of the month, the US payroll data comes out. And that's this Friday. So it'll be interesting to see. They're actually saying the unemployment rate's going to pop from 14 to 19%. There's still, there's more and more unemployed, and the riots and what's happening in the US, I don't see as helping the situation at all. And start destroying retail a bit more around the country is not going to help. And if anything, they've got problems with the coronavirus. That's just going to spread it, isn't it? So I don't see that as coming out very positive. But, is the market going to do the same old thing, smack down and then rally from there? As just to clean out bring in some sellers and turn around and clean out some late buyers with a spike lower and then go higher after a number. If it does come out worse than expected, or even in line with expectations, which are worse than previous. So it's going to be interesting to see what the market does on Friday, expecting a negative number. That well and truly what that would mean is probably more stimulus, and the market seems to be stimulus addicts at the moment. So we'll see if this can hold. On gold, this level here at around 1730 or 1725, inside support zone, which is holding up the support. You can probably see is rising. That level there is holding quite nicely. Do we flush down, hold another level in here around 1735 and then charge higher? Do we find resistance up at 1750? As long as that dollar is heading south, gold's heading higher. But again, not as a safe haven because the dollar's heading south. You've got equities still heading higher as well. All right, we'll get on to the Hang Seng now. Hang Seng is about to open probably at 11:15. So what's that? 10 hour and a half away. Resistance at 23,652, which is the highs from the day session yesterday when it spiked up. So that's obviously getting some momentum on the back of a better than expected. Trump's reaction to Hong Kong was not as bad as expected, I guess. So it was better than expected for Hong Kong, and that's why you got this spike higher. Some good numbers out of China as well. Bit of a flush lower. We found some support at 23,3818 and headed higher again. Now, obviously, the markets are down slightly now. I'm not sure that's going to leave the Hang Seng on the futures market once it opens, but the CFDs are trading slightly lower. Probably brings us middle of the range somewhere. But it'd be interesting to see if this level can hold. We build a lower high. There might be a bit of a sell-off, just as profits locked away. Okay, market stretched. You can see on the stochastic, we're using that as that buying and selling pressure. So the buying pressure has been well and truly absorbed up into a zone. So that would lead me to believe that it could be a reaction off that zone as some recent buyers lock away some gains. The trend is still up. The MAs are quite strong to the upside. It's going to take a bit of consolidation. Even if we do pull back, bounce off the MAs and hold a higher level, you could be looking for a break of that resistance at 23,652. But that's the level to be working off at the moment. We just want to see what happens on the open, whether there's some negativity flowing through the markets or not. And at the moment, the anchor to this uptrend is at 23,318, so that's holding it up at the moment. So until that's broken, that trend is still up. We might get a bit of chop between those levels, but we'll just have to see. And it's obviously, if I'm trading off this, I'll be trading. If I'm looking for a short up here and we're finding some weakness, I'm going down to the lower time frames. Okay, maybe a 5 minute and trading off the one. That's just my intraday trading style. But you can see longer term, this support zone is a key support zone at around 22,600 through here, which is held up nicely. we just broke through the fact that yesterday we broke through this level at 23, say 450, this higher level, popped down here, broke it. It leads me to believe there's going to be some action to lead further upside to come. All right, but for now, we're extended. We might need some heat to come out, see if we can hold a higher level to break up, or see if we start to find some weakness off a lower high to work into. All right, so the Dow, there's some pressure up at that 25,484 or 485 zone. So that's where it finished on Friday night. We gapped down on the open yesterday, pushed up, flushed out that level, and then sold off. And we're back up to that level we just sold off this morning. So you can see that's the action from this morning. Headed lower, but there's no reason to believe we're not going to get another squeeze up. The US is notorious. Whether they got the elbows going or there's someone buying futures up overnight to get a good session, just to force out any negativity in the market and push everyone to the bullish side, and to keep the momentum on the upside, I guess. So whether that's going to happen, we're going to start to buyers are going to start to soak it up at around this zone and start to lead to a break of 25,483. We'll just have to wait and see. But for me, it's sort of in no man's land. I want to see either a pop higher and weakness come in, leading to a potential break of the support and maybe retest of these lows at 2,500, say, or we're going to hold this level, this inside level, and start to find, maybe a pop-up, higher low starts to build on a pullback, and then see if we can get in a long trade here. So they're the scenarios that I've marked out. Okay, maybe flush at this level, hold a higher low, and then you're looking to, you're going from bid zone to offer zone. Okay, you're looking to work a trade long, or potentially some more weakness to come in and look for a trade back down to that bid zone or potentially through. Now the XJO, last we're going to take a look at. Positive yesterday, opened down and basically rallied over 100 points off the lows, which is quite solid compared, considering the negativity around from the open, considering, what's going on in the US. But either way, like I was speaking to someone yesterday, retail opened the market and professionals closed the market. And at the moment, the market is sentiment is still bullish across the globe. So we're looking at really this 58.20 to see what happens today and whether that can hold. Probably going to open down a bit weaker, and the SPY is just open now, so we'll take a look at it in a second. But if this inside level holds at 57.80, you can see this inside sort of support zone from yesterday's lows. I'm on a half an hour chart here, by the way. If that can hold, we could work along, just looking for a pullback and looking to buy into some a higher level, a higher low, essentially, and see if that can push up and through 58.20 and keep that bullish sentiment going. That would lead me to believe we're going to start to test up towards 59.30, although these previous highs, or this previous high at least. All right, so we'll just see what the day brings us. Let's take a quick look at SPY. Okay, SPY's gap down on the open, so you've got this rising channel, gap down. We might still, there's no reason why we can't hold this level and start to build like we did yesterday off a negative open. And that was the open, I think, yesterday. So gap down on the open, and we've just charged higher and up until the close. So whether we get that, we just charge through 58.68, or maybe we need to flush out some of these longs that are built up, because the market was pretty much choppy from the 4 o'clock close. It was pretty much choppy after that. All right, so not much to do just yet. We've got a few key levels we're watching and just see how the market reacts around them. But either way, thank you very much for joining me, guys. It'd be much appreciated if you can leave us a like, or feel free to go to our website and subscribe to our different channels. We've got YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and keep an eye out for some more material to come. Now, guys, have a great day, and we'll be doing this again tomorrow around the same time, 9:40 Australian or Sydney time. All right, enjoy your day. We'll speak to you soon. Bye.